This was a fantastic episode of Dragon Ball. Notice that I'm saying Dragon Ball and not just Dragon Ball Super, because I do think that by the end, this episode is capable of encapsulating the thing that makes Dragon Ball great, and that has made it great throughout the years. And to me, in a nutshell, it's that Western comic book feel, but in a Japanese format. I mean, I literally just feel like I've just finished a comic book issue, and I need to drive my ass to the comic book store to get the next one to see what happens next. There's really nothing wrong with this episode. I don't think, okay, there's just a minor flaw, you know, just to get it out of the way. And it's not really a flaw, it's more like I wish they could have explained something. And that's the fact that I really don't understand how Mai was able of surviving the attack in the tunnels. Like when Black showed up and they started like using the rocket launchers on him, I really don't understand how Mai was able to survive. It just, I mean, twice. That's twice that she's been able to, you know, cheat death in that regard. So I just wanted a little bit of an explanation, and we kind of didn't get that. Other than that, though, and I mean this in all honesty, you know, genuinely, it's definitely one of the best episodes of DBS, period. Just fucking period. And I think what makes it so is that this episode kind of ended up giving fans what they wanted, with fans not really knowing what they wanted. It's like this thing, it's kind of like, it was like a pleasant surprise. Like you're watching the show and you're navigating through it and you're like, okay, you have questions like, where's this going? And then you get this, and it may not have like worked out the way that you wanted it or the way that you predicted it would, but then you see it and you're like, oh, yeah, this is what I wanted. This is what we wanted. This is what we've been watching this arc for. It's time. Like if you were a DBS doubter and you weren't really convinced with the show up until now, this episode has the power of converting those doubters. Because it's like, man, if you're not into the story at this point, it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? There's nothing I can say. But structurally, the episode works so perfectly. I love the beginning of the episode because it combines, you know, a serious situation with some comedy. It's just such a great balancing act between the serious tonality of the situation with the comedic aspects of the characters. Like in the beginning, you have these resistant members confusing Goku for Black. That's why they shot at him. And then one of them says, wait a minute, that guy, which is, you know, referring to Vegeta, he looks even more evil than Black. And, you know, Vegeta throughout all of this, he does this thing, he's like, but he is like, he does that when he's trying, like when he's feeling something inside. You can tell, like, you just let it out, Vegeta. You don't have to be a hard ass all the time. And one of these examples that I get is like when Trunks is talking to Mai. You know, there's a very, very significant romantic undertone between these two. Obviously, they're both blushing. Trunks is super happy about the fact that she's alive. And but the best part of this is the reaction that Goku and Vegeta have to this like flirting, because Goku's like and then Vegeta again and there's actually two very simple moments in this sequence that I thought were fucking amazing, to the point where I think like people may even forget about them because of what happens in the end. But to me, like, those moments were like, holy shit, this is deep. This is deep stuff. This is great. I love that they incorporated that. And that's number one. It's when Goku tells Mai, you did everything you could given the circumstances and given the amount of power that you have. And really, that's all you can do. As long as you try your best, that's all you can do. So that coming from Goku, that was amazing to me. That was super deep. And then the second moment is when that little girl shows up with what I'm assuming is her brother, and she's really scared, frightened, probably even traumatized because of all the bombing and, you know, all the destruction that's been going on. And Trunks gets close to her. And at first you think, what is he going to say? He's going to say something very serious because he looks very serious. And then he just goes like, meh, and they start laughing. And the point that Trunks makes is that this is what you're fighting for, really. This is what you saved. You're fighting for this little girl's right to laugh, to be able to just have a good time, to be hopeful about the future. That's what we're fighting for. And this is what you saved, Mai. So I just love that. That was super powerful. Both those moments, again, I think, they're very simple, and if you don't pay enough attention, you might just forget about them. But I think really, in all this action and all this bombastic stuff that keeps going on, sometimes you do kind of forget that's really what's at the core of these fighters. Turns out Bulma gave Vegeta like a little capsule, and he uses that to give everybody a feast. They have like a mini banquet there, and so, you know, everybody gets to have a good meal. Yajirobe is there. Turns out that he survived because he was able to eat like the final senzu bean or whatever. And it's a very, you know, it's a comedic relief, really. It's just painting light of a really dark, otherwise really dark and you know, desperate situation. So that works, and then they leave. Well, actually, Vegeta says, I don't want you to fight, Trunks, because you have this girl. And then Trunks are like, oh, it's not like that. Yeah, come on, it's not like that. Shut up, Trunks. So they go, all three fighters go, and they summon, well, they don't really summon, but they're capable of making Black come to them. And this is where shit just starts getting crazy. Vegeta tells Goku, I'm gonna take this one, because you've been taking all the good fights. Fuck you. And Goku's like, no, please, can we please come up with like some type of arrangement? And he says like maybe a rock, paper, scissors. And initially Vegeta's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. But he ends up doing it anyway, and Goku loses. So Black shows up, and Vegeta's like, all right, I'm gonna go Super Saiyan Blue. And he starts going ham. Like he starts, you know, connecting those things, punching in through buildings, you know, just cracking bedrock, all this shit. And you look at Black, and you're like, it's not doing anything. Like he's literally tanking Super Saiyan Blue. It's like he's just letting Vegeta like have a good time, you know, just let him have a good time, let him throw his punches. And then Black decides to get serious, and I think he kicks Vegeta, and you're like, what the, like, holy shit. Like the amount of damage that Black does in his base form is like, it's compared to what Vegeta was doing to him is incredible. It's like, what happened? Like, what have you been doing? It just made it seem like Vegeta was definitely underestimating this guy. But then again, the entire series has been working its way into making the viewers underestimate Black, so can't really blame him for that. That being said, he goes Super Saiyan Rose, all right? And the transformation, the music for the transformation, you know, the feels that you get out of it, like the aura, the hair, the way the hair comes in, it just, again, classic DBZ feels. That's what I got out of this. Anyway, Vegeta goes at him, all right? And at one point I did notice this, like Black throws a punch, Vegeta blocks it, and the moment he blocks it, Black's aura disappears. So what's going on with that? That was a little bit like shocking. I was like, is that supposed to happen there? What's going on? But anyway, Vegeta gets carried away. He starts connecting those blows. And unfortunately, I guess he gets distracted enough to not see that Black is using his ki to form this Keyblade. And it just, I don't know if you guys saw X-Men Apocalypse during the summer, but it just reminded me so much of Psylocke. It just really serves to increase that comic book feel that I was talking about in the beginning of the review with the whole, okay, now you have like a, I mean, not Psylocke herself, but you have a menacing villain here that can actually do some serious damage. Now going back to the blade, Psylocke, she has the ability of creating this blade out of psychic energy, so I thought that was kind of similar. But anyway, it's also the blade that Zamasu uses, and like, I think what's going on is that in order to make that blade, like he needs to concentrate all of his ki, all of his aura in that one hand. So he pierces through Vegeta, just cuts right through him, and that fucks him up. That's a KO. Vegeta starts bleeding out the mouth. He goes out of Super Saiyan Blue, and Trunks is, you know, Goku just tells Trunks, you need to take care of him. He goes Super Saiyan Blue. They start fighting it off in the air, and Trunks says they're evenly matched. That's his evaluation. And then you hear Vegeta, you literally hear Vegeta say, no, they're not. And that cuts to like Goku having a cut on his shirt because the blade probably just, you know, grazed him or whatever. And then, like, Black is about to use Kamehameha, and out of the heavens, like a fucking pimp, out comes Zamasu. And he's like, don't do this, don't kill him, you promised me that I would be the one to finish off Goku. So it seems like he's using Black as a person to regulate fighting, even though he's causing a shit ton of destruction. I still think that Zamasu is Dr. Frankenstein. I still think that he created this guy, and then there's going to come a point when he's going to realize that he fucked up and he's not going to be able to control him. And I think that's when the resolution comes. But I think that only happens later down the road. Vegeta's out, so it's going to be up to Trunks and Goku to fight these guys. Probably a one-on-one, Trunks versus Zamasu, Goku versus Black. And I'm not really sure if the button that Zeno gave Goku last episode is going to come into play here. I don't know, man. Like, it's like, Black is not a fucking joke anymore. Like, this is some serious shit, right? And, you know, but that being said, because he's such a big threat, I can't wait to see Goku break his limits one more time and surprise us all. Because that's what he does, right? That's why people like him. That's basically the essence of his character. He breaks the limit every time. And I can't wait to see that. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Again, it's definitely like one of the best DBZ episodes up there when Goku activated Kaioken with Super Saiyan Blue, when he combined the two during the tournament. Got that DBZ feel in me. Classic Dragon Ball content. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you did. I appreciate that. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what your thoughts. Thank you. Bye.